Let's do some coaching. Hey, Kristen.
Hello. Can you hear me okay? Ooh, I'm far
Hear
away.
you and see you. There you are.
Hi.
Hi.
I knew you were going to pick me too. I was getting anxious. So weird.
I love it. The anxiety of knowing.
Mm-hmm.
How can I help you?
So I did my daily work today, and one of the thoughts that came up was in the mind scan was I will get derailed from my goal by my desire to be with my family.
Okay. So you're being derailed from your goal by your desire to be with your family.
Yes.
Okay.
And that feels super true. And I also know that I will get derailed, which is a very interesting choice of words, if I allow myself to. But I don't know, it's like this nagging fear that I know if I don't just see it for what it is, it's going to happen. And it's what keeps happening.
Okay. That you're being derailed from your goal because you want to be with your family?
No, well, yes, but more so that I'm just allowing it. I'm just giving into it to that.
Yeah. This is actually a really great thing to come up because if you think about like everything that's coming up right now was always there before, then there was always something you were willing to put in front of your business. And it's just very clear now that what you're putting in front of your business is this idea of who you're supposed to be to your family.
You were not supposed to make me cry this morning.
But at least you don't have
That's
on
true.
makeup.
I know. It's so true, though. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not who you actually are to your family. It's who
Right.
you think you should be. Who
Right.
should you be to your family?
Me. I don't know. All the things. Whoever I want to be.
Tell me, what is that? You should be you.
I should be a loving mom who wants to spend time with them, but I should also be a person who goes after her dreams so that they know to do that too.
Okay.
And somebody who takes care of themselves.
So let's just start here real quick. Can you guys hear my kids?
Yeah, but I thought it was my kids, so that makes me feel better.
I know while you were talking, I'm making a face because they're like screaming. But this is, right? This is the world. So it's okay. So are you being like, well, you said I'm going to be a loving mom. But really, what that means is I'm going to feel love in my body thinking about my children. They're not, you don't know what they feel. You're
Right.
just feeling love in your own body. Are you feeling love in your body for your children?
Yeah.
Okay. How much time does that take for you to do?
No time.
Yeah. I bet you could do it instantly. Fill your whole body with love just real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about spending time with them? Like you didn't just say I need to spend time with them. You said I have to be a mom who wants to spend time with them.
Is
Do
that what
you
I said?
want to spend time with them?
Sometimes, but not most times.
Yeah. Okay. Is that okay? Or is there judgment there?
No, I don't have judgment on that.
Okay. Do you spend time with your children?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you can feel love in an instant. You have and use time to be with your children. Do you go after your dreams?
I try to. That's my thought.
How's trying going for you? Right? I love the visual of a piece of paper, right? And you have the piece of paper and you are trying. Oh, I don't want to rip that piece of paper. And you're trying. Ripping would be, what am I doing? I'm going after my dreams. Done.
Yeah.
Trying is like, nothing's happening because I'm trying.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And then what about taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of yourself?
In some ways, I guess.
Okay. What if these two things were just decisions? I am going after my dreams. I do take care of myself. Could you see how it's true that you do take care of yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you shower.
Yeah, that was exactly what I just thought. I shower, I brush my teeth, I do my hair. Like,
Yeah, you do.
those are things.
You put on a nice shirt. We don't know what else you're wearing, but we know you put on earrings.
Yep, pajama pants under there.
Yeah. Hey, we know that you get yourself ready. Have you eaten lately in the last week or so?
Yes.
Have you eaten something healthy that's good for you?
Yes.
Right? So you see the difference in, like, you were reluctant to believe I'm taking care of myself. And this is like you trying to stay in realistic. Like, yeah, but my brain can see all the evidence I'm not. Versus just deciding I take good care of myself.
Yeah. That's something that I struggle with, just like deciding things on purpose.
Yeah.
Huh.
How do you struggle with it? Who gets to tell you what you get to decide or what you get to think?
Me.
Who's the decision police?
Me.
Yeah. So why are you so tough with yourself about what you get to believe or not? Or where your brain gets to decide?
Because I don't want to be wrong, because failing feels bad.
Yeah. Yes. Everybody, the thought, I don't want to be wrong, will keep your business very stuck. Failing feels awful. No. You want to know what feels awful, Kristen? Having a dream, having a vision of what you can build, having a vision of yourself as a woman who's independently wealthy, who buys fancy things just because she wants them, who doesn't stay at the Holiday Inn Express because they have free breakfast, but stays at the Ritz-Carlton or whatever this other place is called that I really liked staying at once, because they take care of you, right? They open the door, they know your name, and you're like, whoa. Right? That feels bad, knowing that there are people who need this work and that you haven't become the person yet who to help them. That feels kind of bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But our brain thinks that we're trading failure for failure, and it forgets that we're just failing now. Because you guys all want to know something. Growth does not feel good.
Nope.
Staying the same also does not feel good. They both feel awful.
Yes.
This morning, I have nothing to feel bad about. But my brain was like, oh, we should cry. And I was like, we can't. We have makeup on. We can cry later. But it doesn't matter. Like, it's still going to feel awful no matter what. And if it still feels awful no matter what, do you still want to do it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's worth it. It's what I want, and it's what people need. It's my purpose. It's what I'm here for.
Okay.
I have to go through it. I'm just like, how do I, this is my biggest struggle, I feel like. It's just feeling feelings. And I don't notice that that's really my problem, because I'm like, oh, I'm an emotional person. I feel feelings all the time.
Yeah.
But I avoid, my brain's really good at like keeping me from feeling those really bad ones that are the failure ones.
Yeah. And this is what I love about feelings, you guys, is that everything we do or don't do is for a feeling, which means the reason that you aren't doing something you want or know you could be doing in your business is because of a feeling you're afraid to feel. It might be failure, but there might be something else. What feelings do you think you avoid feeling?
Pride.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Weird, right?
What's the opposite then? What do you let yourself feel if not proud?
Shame.
Probably a good cousin to judgment too, right?
Yep. That's where I live.
Yeah. Okay. And does it seem necessary to feel shame and judgment? Like, does your mind think that this is serving and helping somehow?
Yeah. I never thought of it like that, but yeah, it feels like it's keeping me realistic. It's keeping me from feeling Because like possibility is vulnerable.
Oh yeah, because it's open.
Yeah. So if I'm realistic, if I keep myself in check, then it's safer.
Yes. This is actually an interesting body experience because safety, what we think is safety, is feeling hard. And this is going to be the interesting thing for you and for everybody. It's like when you practice feeling this openness, possibility feels open. It's
Yeah.
like your heart is, and there's just this tiny little piece of glass protecting you. But it's actually a complete shift. Like people talk about a shift in energy, like your feeling state on a regular basis will be different when you learn to feel open. You're still going to go into feeling closed and tight and resistant. But the beautiful thing is that when open becomes the norm, when you do tense and tighten up, it's like triggers this bell in your head that you're like, something changed.
Yeah. Like, oh, I don't like this.
Versus right now, when you feel open, your brain's like, something
Oop.
changed.
Yeah, right.
And to create the business you want, Kristen, what's going to happen is those emotions are going to flip. You're going to feel open more than you feel closed.
That makes sense.
So you want to identify, like part of this is the acceptance. Yesterday I talked about the first place to start with emotions is acceptance. It's also an open feeling. It's acceptance of yourself. It's acceptance of how the brain works. It's acceptance of I'm feeling this emotion and it's for just a very normal, reasonable reason because I'm thinking a thought. It's acceptance of the coronavirus. Like it's just a thing. Like that's what happens. As humans, we create things and then we suffer the consequences and it sucks and that's okay. Right? It's acceptance of that you're going to probably do a bunch of stuff in your business and it may or may not work. And that acceptance is like, I'm willing to do that.
I think it's like when you said that yesterday, that resonated with me so much because I have a lot of judgment and shame about what my business has looked like over the last 2 years. And that's exactly what it is. It's like I need to feel that acceptance for what I've done so far.
Yes.
And that it is okay. Like I keep coming back to of course this is what it looks like. Of course I get clients in drips and drabs. Of course sometimes I sign 4 and then I sign none for months. Like that's just of course. And it's okay.
Yeah. And like I have acceptance of that. And because I know how to sign 4 clients at once, I know that I created that and I can study it and I can figure out what changed and shifted. Because that's really, you guys, when you think about creating consistent money, that's what changes. You learn how to identify those other pieces of the formula. You learn to capture how it was your thoughts and feelings to create that sense of control. Because control doesn't come from the action you're doing. It doesn't come from how many times you posted. Control comes from, oh, I felt open. I was remembering to think people really need this, right? Like my coaching is more valuable than a Peloton bike. And I see people buying those because they need it and because people buy what they want and what they think they need. Right? You forgot to believe that what you sell is more valuable because when you do, and this is part of capturing how you create clients, when you do believe certain things, you create clients.
Yeah.
And then you just forget how you feel. But my favorite analogy of this, you guys, is it's a railroad track, right? You're not lost in the woods and you're trying to find your way back. You're not, I don't know, I don't have another good analogy, but there's just railroad ties. When you create 4 clients, you're over here. When you're over here creating none, you're just on this side of the railroad tie. And what you're practicing doing is stepping back and forth. I go out of belief and then I'm over here not creating results. And then I don't judge that I'm not creating results. I'm like, oh, look at that. I realized I create my results again because I forgot. And I remembered it was my thoughts and not the things I do.
That's where I get stuck.
And then I just stepped back over.
Yeah.
And they're always parallel and there's never a train coming. There's no pressure. You're learning to rotate back and forth.
I love that visual. and the remembering it's my thoughts, because it is, I go to the A line to find my problem, and then the A line makes me feel overwhelmed because I'm like, well, I did all these things but I don't feel like it now.
Yeah.
So funny. Okay.
And one other thing you said, like, I'm reluctant for emotions. I want you to identify the emotions you're reluctant to feel, because those are the ones you're going to have to find in your body and practice identifying and letting them just be sensations in your body. Emotions aren't actually a problem. They're
Right.
sensations in your body, right? Like anxious feels like there's a set of books upon your chest. And it's kind of bubbly. It's kind of like someone's choking you. But they're not, right? So we're okay. And your breath will shallow. But the more you are like talking yourself about like, oh, this is what anxious feels like, the easier your mind will be to be like, okay, and I can feel anxious and be okay. And so the visual I have in business, you guys, is that we're walking through a dark tunnel. Obviously, it's dark. And in front of us is a spider web. And it's obviously very large, but there's no spider. We're still safe. Notice, you guys, what I'm saying is that there's this level for your body to remember I'm safe. You have to give it that comfort. No matter what, I'm okay. I'm looking around me and I'm warm and I'm housed and there's light and Wi-Fi. I'm good.
Good.
I'm actually totally safe. But your emotions are going to be like that spider web in the dark. Your hand is out in front of you. You're going towards the goal you want. But that emotion is going to be like the hand hitting a spider web. You expect you're going to jerk back. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, that was terrible. Because the emotion for me is nervous. Mm-hmm. When I feel nervous, it's like hitting that spider web and my brain's like, oh my gosh, don't do that. And I was like, wait a minute. I can feel nervous because it's just like excitement, but like with some bubbles at the top and a little heavier. I'm like, oh, I can do that one. Right? So emotions are like spider webs.
Yes.
And they're why you have or don't have every single thing you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm interestingly looking forward to feeling some crappy feelings on purpose.
Yeah, because what are you going to tell yourself about it?
I'm safe. It's fine. Yeah. And I can handle it.
Yes. And the only reason I'm feeling these emotions is because of thoughts I'm thinking. This is totally normal. Like, I'm creating this. And then you find how it's true. Like, what's the emotion I'm feeling? Oh, how am I creating that feeling? Oh, with this thought.
It's like a superpower. I control the weather in my body.
That's right. Your weather and your body. And for you, Kristen, in particular, because you identified this, part of what you're going to need to feel, maybe every day until it becomes a habit, is proud. You have to teach yourself how to feel proud and learn that that's a safe thing to feel. Because proud is what you're going to need to feel in your body. Because, right, what happens is we think we're going to feel proud when we get there, which means that every emotion we think we're going to have then is what we have to feel now to get to that place, to be willing to do the hard things and to show up and be the person that we will be when we're already there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Who else wants some coaching? Let's do Jenny. Jenny, were you my sound check technician? So fun. Okay.
Right. Start video. There we go.
There you are. Hello.
Hi. Hi. Yes. Yeah, I was struggling. I've done this work for a while.
Okay.
But I kind of found I started doing it around October, doing it every day. I think from your previous worksheet.
Okay.
And I found that I wasn't, on any of the questions, I wasn't seeing any progression or, I guess, improvement or change or anything like that. So it felt very repetitive because I didn't see any changes in my thoughts. That kind of, I was just like, oh, it's not working. I'm meant to see change, but am I? Or
Okay.
I give up just before that all happens. I think that's what I'm thinking now. I want to get back into it being like a daily practice.
So let's stop and look at the change, because it is actually necessary for you to see and feel and experience change. Like, this is how I know that I have coached my own mind, or that I've worked through something, right? Is that if I walk into my self-coaching, if I walk into my daily work and I write down a thought that I'm believing, the way that I know I effectively coached myself and walked myself through it is because I feel different. So what you're saying is you're getting to the end of your work and you don't feel any different. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I did feel a slight shift today.
Okay.
But I know when I did it previously, that wasn't the case. It was like I'd get a fleeting kind of sensation of feeling something like possibility, but it was sort of very, wispy, like that cobweb that you just described. That it's just like I felt it, and then it was like, no, it's gone.
Okay.
But I did feel a bit of a shift today.
Perfect.
So
notice that your brain wants to go back to October, and your brain wants to think the thought, but I did this before and it didn't work. And notice how that thought is actually impacting you in your work today doing this stuff. So it's like you're doing the work and you're like, what else are you thinking, right? Because you probably have two equal feeling and belief thoughts. So one of them about the work is what? Why do you want to do this work?
Because I think it works.
Okay.
I believe it works.
Okay. So notice here's what's happening. You're believing, I know that this works. And you're believing, I tried it before and I didn't do it. And so probably in this space, are you like making it like something's wrong with you? Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, because I see a bit like you said, where you look to the people that are ahead of you in wherever you're, in your journey, and you say that it's possible for them, so I know it's possible for me. Mm-hmm. So I see that, and then I go, yeah, but I'm obviously doing it wrong.
Yeah. But what if the only thing that's going wrong here, right? This is what I love about reprogramming our mind, is that there's thoughts we're thinking and there's thoughts we're forgetting to think. They're always tied to emotions. That's what I love about emotions, you guys. Anybody who's like, I don't know if I want to do those. The only reason I do emotions is because they tell me quicker that something crazy is happening in my head. Right? If I feel open most of the time and then I feel closed, I'm like, oh, something happened. So
and I'm on the flip side of that, where I feel the closed one more, and then I get these fleeting moments of feeling like I feel now. I feel quite calm.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's what you're learning to shift. You're learning to flip it, but this isn't a like you're learning to flip it and then be out of it and be like flip back in. That's all we're ever doing. We're not learning to stay in this forever. We're learning to keep coming back to our normal habit. It's not even normal. It's like the ingrained thing we did for so long, the thing you probably did for 30 years. And now you're like, I've been practicing this new thing for at least 2 years. It's still there. Yeah. And this is part of the acceptance. Like this morning, I caught myself in action, like believing that all the action was the thing. And I was like, why do I feel so awful? Why do I feel so much pressure? Because when I start to feel pressure, my face hurts. It's my first indicator. I'm like, something's happening here. And I'm like, oh, it's because I'm believing doing this thing creates my results. I'm believing this other thing creates my results. I'm forgetting it's my belief.
Yeah, because one of the reasons I think it works and why it's worth doing it is because when I've got into that possibility mode and taken action from there, the results have been better than when I do action, even when I'm feeling, because I do action even when I'm feeling wrong.
Of course.
But it does have a different result, doesn't it? So
And it's going to take, like, for everybody who's like, oh, I'm taking a bunch of action even when it doesn't feel great. It actually takes a lot of mental belief and strength to stop taking action unless you're in a good feeling state. To stop taking action from closed and pressure. And what are your, when you think about feeling closed, what are your normal go-to default emotions?
Anxious.
Anxious? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you take a lot of action from anxious?
Yeah.
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 And this is right. This is very normal, right? Until we know, this is what we do. And so what you want to practice doing is, so it can look two different ways. One, you can do your thought work and butt it right up against action. Or you can practice, like, what do I want to go do? And then what do I need to remember to believe? How do I want to feel?
Yeah.
Why do I want to do this, right? Because so often the doing is happening out of obligation. I should do it. But it's like, why do I want to?
Yeah, because it's that whole taking consistent action.
Yeah, because our brain, everybody in society, right? You guys, I love this whole thing where, like, people tell us what we should do and then we believe it. The only way you're going to create a consistent business is with consistent action. But you tried that, haven't you, Jenny?
Yeah.
That's why this whole thing is about, it's not consistency of action, although keep doing that. That's not a problem. It's consistency of your mind, the consistency of where you bring yourself back to, the consistency of, my brain might freak out, but I know how to bring it back.
Yeah. Like better trained.
Oh, yeah. And there's no perfection, right? There's no, I went to 100% and I stayed there. It's, yeah, I was at like 98% once. And right now I might be at like 42. Oh, but like 5 minutes from now, I might be at 87. Because that's how belief works. But it's, can something change and take me out of the game for a week or a day or a month? Or when things change, can I still be in control of my belief and choose to believe?
Yeah. I think it's finding that feeling for me, because I think it's the default thoughts and the anxiety is more common. And it seems to take a long time for me to kind of feel something like that openness that you described.
Yeah.
I don't feel that very often.
But what if your very first tweak was to start feeling it every day on purpose, even if it was only for 2 minutes or 1 minute? Because what you would be training your brain with is, I'm in control of feeling open. Feeling anxious isn't happening to me. It's part of what I'm just used to. It's a habit. And I can learn how to feel another emotion, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
The other thing is in the world of thoughts we're taking out and putting in, you want to look at, does believing it didn't work last time help me show up and create the result I want today? Or ask yourself, what can I learn from last time that I want to make sure that I don't take with me this time? This is the learn from yourself. So maybe you sit down and learn from yourself, why didn't it work last time? If you want, you certainly don't have to. You just like take yourself through that so your brain has this like decision, like today's a new day. I'm learning, I'm a different person than I was. I'm getting different access to how to think about this and how to navigate it. I am a different person showing up to it. And you decide that now and find how that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Changing you back. Okay, we got time for one more. Let's do Catherine. Promote to panelists.
Hello.
Hi, Catherine.
Hey, Elizabeth.
How can I help you?
This is so helpful, like all the coaching. I think we're all thinking of more or less the same thing. So today, the lesson was really good because I've been, showing up more doing Facebook Live. And after 2, I had stopped. I had redoing it. And then just after 2, my husband and talk about, that, and they say, I can't believe, that you're showing up, you haven't learned anything, like you still your delivery is still very poor, your message is unclear, all this. And
Wait, hold on. Your husband said that to you, or you said that to you?
my husband said that, and he said that they had talked about it with a friend as well, a friend of mine, and that, they were talking about that. So it's like the possible, like the realistic. So my brain now is going to the realistic of, well, of course, it is realistic that my delivery is not perfect, that my message isn't clear. And, I'm like going back into this realistic and very like, okay, it's going to be the same or worse. I need to learn more. I'm not enough today as I am. I need to practice more. I need to, better myself.
Yeah. Versus, like, I want you to think about your husband giving you feedback is no different. Have you ever had children?
I have 2 kids, yes.
Yeah. It's like being pregnant, maybe 6, 8 months, and your husband or some stranger coming in and telling you, you're really fat. And realistically, like, you are. But like, really, you are not. Right? There's like a human, there's something way more amazing going on. And so when somebody comes in, regardless of who it is, and they give you insight, he's inviting you to think his thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening is that you're believing them. And because you're believing the thoughts he's inviting you to think, that's making everything else feel harder. But if he told you that you were fat and you were pregnant, would you believe that?
Yeah, no.
Probably not. Maybe. As women, you never know what we'll believe, but right. And so I love it. Like, it might be if he told you had blue hair. If somebody was like, I really don't like your blue hair, you'd be like, I don't have blue hair. You wouldn't believe it. It would cause no physical sensation change in your body. If somebody was like, ugh, your nose piercing is awful, way too big. You're like, no, these are nostrils. They're not piercings. You'd be like, they're confused.
Yeah. It is like and again, like I had coach, like I had been coached with my coach about like, I'm willing to be judged and criticized, and it's gonna feel, it's not gonna feel good, and it's more important to share my message, or like I have like, this is my strategy, or like this is my learning, curve. But it's like it's still, like it's this default of, I was just trying again, like to show up, and right at the beginning, it's kind of like the universe saying, hey, are you really committed? So.
Maybe, or it's just your default thinking that's like, hey, are you going to get over this now or later?
Yeah.
You really want, but it's like, this is the hardest thing, is that the results we want to create in our life, we aren't owed them. The only thing we know for sure we're going to probably keep getting is the exact same thing we already have, or worse. Why? Because as humans, our default is to stay the same. So Catherine, if you want something more and bigger, if you want a different goal, if you want a different result, you're going to have to want it badly enough to be really uncomfortable. And you're going to have to remember why you want to be uncomfortable, because your brain is going to forget. It's going to be like, why did we want to do this again? And you're going to have to know why. So Catherine, why do you want to have a business?
I want to be financially independent.
Oh, let's not go for financially independent, ladies. We're going for financially wealthy, independently wealthy.
Independently, yeah, wealthy, and like really have like freedom of choice. Yeah. I see that this is my like, I guess, again, it's like a thought, but it's my selfish, thing. Then like the reason of why I've decided my coaching and wellness practice is because I think there's something missing, and like people are just crazy with their diet, and that health is important, no? So there's this, but like for me, like the core is that I want to be financially wealthy.
Yeah. And if you're financially wealthy, are you going to get there by helping people or hurting them?
Helping them.
Okay. So if you're financially wealthy, what is that an indication of?
That I bring value.
Okay. That you've helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happens when you help? Like if you don't show up and help somebody, what's their same or gets worse scenario that they'll likely experience?
Well, they can go with someone else. They can, that might not be, providing like a valuable service. And they can just like run in circle and stay the same.
And what's the downside of them staying the same? Because you said it's weight loss.
Yeah, well, this is another topic. Like it's my niche.
Yeah.
That I'm not 100 committed to. Yeah, it's weight loss with it's getting healthy.
Okay. But if they don't get healthy and they don't lose weight, what's the implication on their life?
That they're going to still think that there's something wrong with them. They're going to obsess with weight rather than doing other things. That as a society, we're not growing, not evolving.
Okay. And how does that impact society? How does it impact their family, their children, the people they interact with when they believe that like what they're doing isn't working, or I forget what you said, isn't good enough?
Yeah, that they're not. Well, they're going to pass that on to their kids as well. And it's like a cycle of like limiting beliefs, that are perpetuating.
Yeah. And maybe that person, your kid goes over and hangs out at their house, and then they pick up those limiting beliefs themselves. Maybe they admire that person because of other parts of her life. And now your kid or somebody else's kid picked that up from just watching and interacting with them. Right? So it's like the thing that you want to find here is what lights me on fire. Why am I driven? Because the fire to help somebody, the fire to build your freedom, the fire to build a life you want, right? It could be for both, because it's like you creating freedom for yourself. There is just no way you do that without helping people, right? So they work together perfectly fine, but you have to have a fire for why you want to keep going when it's hard. Because growth is hard. The only place that it's going to feel easy is when you've built the new habit of the new result. But the problem with the ease of that is you're not going to want that result anymore. As soon as you guys sign this one client this week, you're going to be like, well, yeah, but now I want another one. It's like, right. As soon as you make 100,000, you're going to want 200,000. The ease is once you learn how to make 100,000 with your mind, you will always know how to make 100,000. Once you learn how to create a weight for the rest of your life, you'll always know how to create it when you do it with your mind. And it's going to keep the growth, and the hard is still going to always be there. The cycle, whatever you're going through right now, the cycle will be there next time waiting for you. That's why you don't get out of this growth cycle until you learn to master the cycle. Then you get to grow and you get the result. And then you get to go back into it all over again and feel like everything's terrible.
Yeah.
But you just get better and better at doing the growth cycle.
Yeah. And I think, when you say like, we have thoughts, and then there's thoughts that we forget to remember. I think it's this as well, not forgetting that, yes, it's been 3 years that I've started this new career at coaching, and I think I don't appreciate enough, or I forget to think, of all the progress that I've made.
Yeah.
Even like monetary, like there's still progress.
And
then
that's what our brain does. It forgets all the things that are working to focus on the one thing that it's not thrilled with.
yeah.
Okay. So that's the work I want you to do today. I want you to make a list, Catherine, of everything that you've, like the progress you've made. This could be, I used to be afraid of going live, but now I do it. I'm not afraid anymore. I don't feel panic and fear. Like I'm getting better and better at doing it. You make an entire list of all of the progress you've made because your brain needs to see that it's working.